Yes, yes. It's Balloon Party 101 ESPN. My name's Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Burkett. Jackson, let's go. Let's do this today. This is it. We're both off tomorrow. Jackson's going to Chicago. For what reason?
Golf tournament.
Another member guest?
No. This one is it's one of those charity scrambles, you know.
Well, what does that mean?
It's just a little different than what I'm used to. But hey, listen, it's for a great cause.
You driving?
I am. I prefer to drive to Chicago.
Yeah, fair enough.
With all the hullabaloo that is air travel, you basically take about the same amount of time to fly and drive to Chicago.
Oh, when you talk about Chicago and Kansas City, I would agree. I'll concede that point. Maybe Nashville, I don't know. Yeah.
Nashville, I'd still rather drive.
Yeah, I understand. All right. Jackson, you were very bullish on your series of questions for today, but you didn't have a name for it. I just picked up a facial tell right there for the record. Doesn't seem like you're as bullish as you represented on TMA earlier this morning.
Not bullish that I'm not connected to the wireless Fi right now.
Oh, so here we go.
I'm doing that right now. Once I do that, then my confidence soars right through the roof, Tim.
Look at this. I just glanced up at the YouTube chat. Happy early birthday, Tim. That's from Corey. Happy birthday tomorrow, Tim. That's from Willie. Happy birthday, Tim. That's from Joe. What a celebration.
Yeah, it is so nice.
This is a celebration.
Yeah, well, this is deserved praise and deserved accolade.
Yeah.
I would say, at least. I don't know. I'm
Thank
just
you
one.
so
I'm just
much.
one man.
No, I agree with that.
But it also it tracks because I did come up with the title for these questions, and I called this one. This one's for the Timmies.
Oh my gosh.
This question set's dedicated to you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, happiest of happy birthdays.
Timmy Trumpet.
You think they should retire that at Furrow? You think it's gone on a little long? I still like it.
I have to tell you, I didn't really care for it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And now I think it, having been at the game, a lot of Vanderbilt third downs, I kind of think it kind of puts the crowd on notice to get up.
Yeah. Like, if not that, what else would it be? Like, you have to come up, if someone wants to retire it, you got to come up with a better third down song. And I don't know if
like what goes on at Arrowhead. You know, we have a lot of Chiefs fans in the St. Louis area.
I don't know. Yeah. St. Louis Chiefs fans, and there's plenty of you. Text in what happens there.
You pursed your lips when you said, "There's plenty of you." Yeah, right there. That.
Yeah, well, that's my affectation.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, what do they do on third down? Like, that's a great football atmosphere. How do they get that atmosphere going?
You know what would be good? Martin Garrix's Animals on third down, the drop. You know, like the clippity-clop sounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Well, Jackson's got ideas, and that's why he's got this series of questions. It's called This One's for the Timmies. This One's for the Children was New Kids on the Block, isn't it? This one's for the children. That was Jordan Knight, and that's the guy you think's most attractive in New Kids on the Block, or do you think Joey McIntyre?
Definitely not the one with the little alfalfa cut. Who's that?
Tough to be hot with an alfalfa cut.
Yeah,
all due respect to
not aged
alfalfa
well.
and Panther from Somewhere Under the Rainbow.
Jordan Knight's the Danny Wood is the one I don't like.
Wow. Danny Wood is going to join us at 10:30. Jackson, what is our first question?
Well, ahead of Danny Wood popping on the show, and with the Matthew Sluka situation going on at UNLV.
Oh, are you leading with UNLV?
I actually think that this is.
I'm not. Hey, I didn't know if you were like setting up your questions or if that was the lead. That's why I asked the question. I wasn't. Don't be defensive. Listen, look at me. You're a prince.
Mm-hmm. I'm not being like I think. I'll explain why I think this is the lead. I think this is what has a lot of people talking, and I think it both has very micro elements and big macro discussion elements. So I think it's kind of perfect for our show. And we didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday. So with the Matthew Sluka situation at UNLV playing out and gaining national attention.
Quarterback of UNLV, for the record.
Right. It's a real Take Smith's delight.
Who is withdrawn from the program because he's owed $100,000 per his side of the story.
Right.
For NIL, and they're undefeated and ranked in the top 25 and coached by former Missouri coach Barry Odom. Just some background. I don't know. You know, so probably 68% of the audience already knows all that stuff. But I don't make this show about the 68% who know. It's about the 32% who don't know.
That's why this one's
called. And then we all get together and then we talk about it.
That's why this one's called This One's for the Timmies.
Yep. This one's for the children.
So with the Matthews Luka situation at UNLV playing out and gaining national attention, it's a real Take Smith's delight. Whatever sky is falling, football is dead, prisoner of the moment take you can think of, it's been said in a matter of 24 hours.
Is that right? What I honestly haven't. I haven't been looking for them.
Yeah.
Either.
I've done some perusing around Twitter.
And what are the takes?
College football is dead.
College football is dead. Who said that?
It's now on. I mean, I saw like.
I didn't mean to expose you. It wasn't my goal. I was just curious.
Well, I saw like 20 different.
Can you give me an example of somebody that we'd be familiar with and saying something that would you consider to be Take Smithy? I just want to get an idea. I don't know because I really didn't know. My mute is real active on Twitter.
And that's fair. I don't have something right off the top here. I can just assure you that these takes are happening.
Okay.
I am not pulling this one out of thin air. This is certainly the conversation going on at the moment. Looking at this from afar, do you classify this as an outlier to the new school college football landscape or the first domino to fall in a string of similar situations to come? At what point do you start to worry about this becoming a trend?
I think if anything, answering the first one, that this will help expedite rules that will keep it from happening. But one of the core issues is recruiting. Oftentimes these NIL deals are done verbally, and that's what's happened at UNLV. So if you don't have recourse because you don't have a legal document, then you've got a situation on your hands.
Right. And not to mention that there is no unifying rules for NIL. It's state by state, and the NCAA really can't enforce any of the rules. So it's kind of like, I saw this analogy used yesterday. It's like who do you go? Do you go to the police when you've done something illegal and someone's wronged you while you're doing something illegal? Like there's nobody to go to. There's nobody to enforce these rules. So in a way, the players kind of have leverage in the sense that, I just won't play.
UNLV is saying that he started asking for more money.
Right.
And the former UNLV quarterback is saying, and his father and his representation is saying he was told he was getting $100,000 by the assistant coach, I believe the offensive coordinator, under Barry Odom. And that is why he is leaving, because he has only received $12,000 of that $100,000, and they have been pursuing it for months. They haven't gotten it. And because the NCAA allows a player to redshirt and maintain eligibility if they play fewer than 4 games, since he has played 3 games, that includes a win over Kansas and a win over Houston, UNLV, he can leave and maintain a year of eligibility. He was a transfer from Holy Cross. And I don't necessarily think that he is the main reason that UNLV is in the position that they are in. But he is the starting quarterback of a very surprising top 25 team that has some big games. The game against Syracuse that they have next week is expected to be one of the biggest games in UNLV college football history. Well, now their starting quarterback won't be there. He has left the program. There was talk. The Colonel, Gabe DeArmond, said on one of his postgame shows that the greatest scenario ever would be UNLV is the 12 seed, Missouri is the 5 seed, and Barry Odom comes back to Columbia with the running Rebels for the playoff game.
I love that. I think a home.
It's going to be a little tougher now without a starting quarterback.
Yeah, but hey, maybe a Kurt Warner situation is lying in the weeds. Maybe they got someone they're ready to put in there, plug and play, next man up mentality. But I think, like, to this point, like, this is such a red meat topic because a guy's quitting when he's totally healthy. Like it's the easy way to go about this, I think, from a evaluation standpoint, is be like, you don't quit on your team, you don't do that. Like that's just not what you do.
Well, you pay your employees,
right? And that's
where I am. I actually don't think it's that. I saw it in a YouTube chat yesterday while we were doing QFTA on the Tim McKernan. Hey Tim, what's your take? I mean, if I weren't getting paid by my employer, I just leave.
Oh yeah, totally agree.
So I don't really see it as that. I think the core issue is that it was a verbal agreement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's where you can get into a gray area, and that is the wild, wild west that is college football at the moment.
Right. I just think like it is an easy route to go if you are to take UNLV side in a way and be like, you don't quit on your team. It's like,
no, pay them.
Right.
And that's the agreement.
Right. But then now the truth is contested on who's telling the truth about the situation. Is it Luka? Is it UNLV? Who has more to gain? Who has more to lose? It's a he said, she said situation.
I can only give you reads.
Yeah.
But you know I own souls at the World Series of Poker.
And you call balls balls and strikes strikes.
That's right. Honesty of media. This would be rather insane for a guy who, he was at Holy Cross for a number of years, and that's nothing against Holy Cross, but, it was Holy Cross, and now he's at UNLV, and he's going to jeopardize this over what what the contention of UNLV is. Now he wants more money.
Right.
And that's why they're not paying. Am I correct on that? Tell me if I'm wrong. So that just strikes me as that'd be a hell of a bluff to really follow through on.
Right. And I think if you wanted to look at this from like a domino effect
Point
thing,
is, I believe the UNLV former quarterback.
I would, if put under the gun, I think I would agree. I just think if there is a good domino to fall in this, it's that players get things in writing. Like this is I don't
know how you don't in the first place, but again, my understanding on this is this goes on quite a bit, that these deals are not like, hey, we have a contract for you.
Right.
It'd be tough to put that together.
Well,
there's an agreement, and then the player comes there and the contract's not done. And, 17 years old, it's not like everybody's got counsel with them at all times, or counsel at all, and that's how you can get exposed on this stuff.
Right, and depending on your situation.
And when you're in college, hey, right now, but when you're in college, $100,000's like $10 million.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like if you're depending on your situation where you grew up or something, like $100,000 can mean getting your family into a much better situation. And if it's told to you by someone you trust, writing or not, I don't blame a 17 or 18-year-old for trusting that person. And if that trust is betrayed, it'd be pretty tough. It would be pretty tough to be like, let me suit up for you, especially if it's like an egregious miss of funds. Like if he's 100,000, you only got 12. We're a little off there. That's not a rounding error.
Would you walk over $100,000 for you, not for like the rest of us, but for you?
I have, of course, meat and potatoes. I play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. I pull myself up by the bootstraps. I don't need any stinking money to go out there and try my hardest.
That was it. That's what I would clip off and send out on social media. Jackson Burkett said, I don't need any stinking money.
I'm all grit. I'm all determination.
Nice.
Self-belief. So the money will come for me. I just got to keep doing my thing. No, of course not. If someone said, I'm going to pay $100,000 to play here and they don't give me any of it, no, I'm not going to continue to play. You can get brain soup doing that.
Car Wash Dave wants to know why Piddles hates St. Louis Chiefs fans. What's wrong with you? That's from the 314. I guess that's Car Wash Dave.
I believe we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but for those who are just now cycling on, I just don't like people who did.
Right there. I think Car Wash Dave is going to take that as you're just a little bit condescending.
Well, these people are constantly condescending to me. Like,
give me one example.
Or just like pure aggressive. So if I come back with a little bit of sass, I think that should be expected.
Car Wash Dave, there's your answer.
I'm not spineless, I plant my feet in the ground. I'm 6'1", tons of fun.
Travis George wants to know if we can get your top 5 hottest college football coaches.
Ooh.
That's in the YouTube chat.
Well, I do 4, so I don't do 5.
It's a Mount Rushmore, Travis.
Yeah, I do 4, and they're in no particular order. So I guess I can do one just to get things started. I like that Marcus Freeman in Notre Dame.
Okay, Marcus Freeman.
Yeah. I liked when he was firing up his boys. I had that Texas A&M game with Power by Kanye playing. I was like, I'd run through a brick wall for that guy. So
you're attracted to a man, you'd like to play with him?
For him. But that might create a weird power dynamic.
Yeah, that seems like that's kind of your theme. You're a sub, aren't you?
Not by nature, but I'm kind of like a chameleon, I'm like a utility hitter, like outfield, middle infield, need me a DH, whatever you got, just plug and play.
Chiefs fans like Morgan Wallen, Pat McAfee, and Brian Kelly, and Wolf Bank Robbers. That's from the 573.
Wolves with Brad Pitt and George Clooney coming out tomorrow on Apple.
I don't know. Legends of the Fall with Brad Pitt and Aidan Quinn and Sir Anthony Hopkins. Not Anthony, Sir Anthony. Bad.
Legend of the Fall, yeah.
Wow.
That's the bad use of Brad Pitt.
I'm surprised you've seen it.
Same with Troy.
It came out before you were born, and it's like a Brad Pitt romance movie.
Yeah, that and the river runs through it. Just not.
You haven't seen The Girl Next Door with Alicia Cuthbert. I don't understand.
I saw half.
It's a damning statement.
I'm sorry. But, no, Legend of the Fall. And river runs through it. No.
All right. Well, we still have 3 college football coaches for Jackson to rank as far as their hotness goes. God, I'm trying to think through who you're going to go with. This is It's going to be fun. That's what this is going to be.
Yeah. There's going to be a surprise in there.
Is there probably like an older man?
Not that many old guys coaching college football.
It used to be.
Yeah.
Young man's game now, huh?
Yeah. Who am I thinking of? Who am I missing here?
Howard Schnellenberger.
No, Lou Holtz. Not going to make my list.
He's not.
No.
Okay. Sounds like you're down on Lou Holtz now all of a sudden, coming after me and the Fighting Irish.
Not my favorite.
Wow. So now you're just open about your disdain for the Irish and the Italians.
My number one, the first person I named was the head coach of the Fighting Irish.
It's interesting, but the Fighting Irish fans really don't like him.
I'm going to keep my opinions to myself.
I don't know what you're implying. The man just lost to Northern Illinois at home after losing to Marshall at home.
I know. Yeah, that's tough.
All right. Do you think Missouri fans would have been high on Drinkwitz had they lost to Vanderbilt?
No, I don't think they're going to be high enough if they lose to A&M. I think
that's a little more understandable.
More on that coming up.
Oh, wow. Boy, what a tease right there. I like that tease. All right, Jackson's got a big show lined up here. This is Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Well, huge show today. Opening drive is going to be 4 hours tomorrow, Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm vacationing in the Hamptons. You're vacationing in Chicago, playing another member guest. But the other reason why the show is so significant today is you're ranking your top 4 Mount Rushmore of hottest college football coaches. Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame gets the George Washington. Would you like to rank your Abe Lincoln now, or?
I think when a gentleman this deep into his life can pull off a head of hair like he can, you get a spot in my list. Welcome to the list, Mike Gundy.
Mike Gundy is on the list.
I mean, have you seen what his hair looks like?
It's thick. It's lush.
It's like jet black, thick as all hell. It looks great.
So Mike Gundy and Marcus Freeman so
And
far.
I like consistency. I mean, he's been at Oklahoma State. I'm going on 20 years, aren't we?
I think I'm going to say that you're in that right range.
Because that rant, the I'm a man, I'm 40
Did
rant.
he replace Les Miles? I think so. Somebody will check on that. My nurse will check on that.
Les Miles will not be making my list.
Oh, MD 2020 says it's the second interview Jackson at the Score in Chicago tomorrow. Best of luck. That's what's going on under the guise of another member guest.
That's just my private life. I can do what I want. It's my weekend.
How would you address the Balloon Party listeners if you announced you were leaving to go to Chicago?
To be like the Blackhawks analyst.
Yeah, you and Panger.
I was about to say, me and Panger, so many similarities. I think people understand that it's what's best for me and my family at this moment. And if they don't, they should have treated me better when I was here. I'll say that much.
So you feel like you're underappreciated, and the reason you would go to Chicago is to be appreciated by the fans of the Windy City?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Wow.
If we're being honest.
Okay.
You don't know what you have until it's gone.
Cinderella, 1980. I'm going to say 88 because it gets me 87 and 89, and I just don't think 86 in play.
This is the animated film, or is there a song called Cinderella?
Let's do some show prep. It's a band called Cinderella, and if I'm not mistaken, they opened up for Bon Jovi on the Slippery When Wet's tour. Somebody will check on that, and I think that was at the arena. Any of our listeners in attendance to confirm that, but they had the song Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. And the lead singer kind of had a lip structure like Mick Jagger and Steven Tyler. Think about that. And I wonder if that's good for vocalists to have that lip structure. Somebody can leave a mic drop on that topic.
1988.
Yeah, I shipped it. So awesome to be good.
What was your favorite year of the 80s?
I think 85, because the 85 Cardinals.
Yeah.
So 8 years old.
Yeah.
The ladies at St. Gabriel's couldn't keep their hands off.
Is that post or pre-Thriller Jacket?
Post. I think I had learned a lot from the Thriller Jacket experience.
So you were more calloused at that time?
I just think that taught me how to be a man, showing up to the St. Gabriel schoolyard wearing a Thriller jacket and thinking it was going to go well.
So like all the zippers and everything?
Whole thing. It might have been the one Michael Jackson wore.
You guys are similar sizes.
I agree.
One. You didn't go with a glove, did you?
Being from South City, we couldn't afford a diamond-studded glove.
Right. Fingerless only.
I'm sure there were a lot of diamond-studded gloves at Horton Watkins, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are correct, Tim. I was in attendance at that concert. That's from your mom's boyfriend, who was at the Bon Jovi Cinderella concert.
Right. This is like a retrospectus.
Yeah, it is. Don't know what you got till it's gone. And that's what you're saying the Balloon Party audience is going to feel when you leave to go to the Score in Chicago.
What are
you going to be doing? Replacing Danny Parkins?
I'm going to be covering Bernstein. He's had a big couple weeks. No, I'll just be bringing heat. And,
that's all.
Well, I'm going to be covering
What's
the
job title? Heat bringer?
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to be covering the Blackhawks.
That's awesome. Yeah. That'll be fun. You'll do a good job.
Rather that than the Bulls. Oh, man. Dumpster fire that's been over the last 20 years.
T-Mac, my Thriller jacket was bought by my mother at Venture. That's from the 618.
So
there are other guys in the audience who wore that?
It's tough.
That is tough. We need to have like a little club.
Maybe bring that back. That should be your
I can wear that in on Monday.
But don't say anything about it.
Yeah, just sit there and...
Like it's a totally normal
I saw
thing.
Drinkwitz yesterday did an interview with Chris Doering, SEC Network, former Florida receiver.
He was on Feinbaum as well.
And he was just sitting there doing the interview like leaning back, petting a dog in a tank top and didn't address it.
Drink was in a tank top?
No.
Oh, okay.
Doering was.
Okay, I was going to say, that'd be rough. Can you imagine? I saw him in the Masters jacket either today or yesterday.
Is that right? Is he a good ball striker?
I think he went this year. I think I remember seeing a picture of him at Augusta at the Masters.
I didn't think you'd have cameras on property unless you were credentialed media, Brad.
I'm sure someone, he's the head coach of the SEC football team. I'm sure someone snapped a photo.
Jackson thinks Brian Kelly is hot because of his ability to bump and grind recruits. That's from the 573.
There's nothing about Brian Kelly I find the least bit attractive.
This is still the worst effing sports show on the air. It's from the 314.
No one's disagreeing.
Don't know what you got till it's gone. I can't get up to the next level, though. It's kind of like Sebastian Bach and Skid Row. They could hit some notes, and we would slow dance to him at St. Gabriel's. We would.
Who's your favorite male vocalist?
Of that era, Janie Lane, Warrant.
Nice. That's a good answer. I don't know who that is, but
I could tell by the lack of follow-up.
it's great.
Yeah. Welcome in, Jen. Now we just need to find Tiny Peepee. So Jen Phone is in the YouTube chat along with MD 2020, El Gato Grande, which is the big cat, your mom's boyfriend, and Willie. Tim just needs a better co-host. That comes from Jen Phone.
No doubt. But he's got me.
Maybe when you go to Chicago and you start doing afternoons, replacing Danny Parkins, they'll bring in Good Morning Grant.
That'd be great.
What if you got replaced by Marsh? That would probably hurt a little bit.
It'd be tough but fair. Like if someone's
he goes from 4 hours an afternoon drive to 1 hour on middays for a big career bump?
Yeah, I would say he gets to work with you.
Thank you. That's a promo.
Yeah, it'd be tough. But if you're going to get fired from a coaching job, won't you want your offensive coordinator to get the gig?
Look at you. Look at you.
Don't you want the
coaching tree?
Yeah.
And you feel like Marsh is on your coaching tree?
No. He actually coached me. I didn't know how to run the sport until Marsh taught me.
Look at that.
January of 2022.
Did he grab your tiny little hand and guide it around the buttons?
No, he was wearing swim trunks for whatever reason.
That's odd. All right, Jackson, what's our next question?
So much enthusiasm.
Just the swim trunks thing. I'm just like, I don't know what to take. Because our first show was in January, so the odds of him wearing swim trunks.
No, I swear on everything.
So Marsh came in here wearing swim trunks on January 4th.
Yes, dude. He was, because I think it was a reference to the Blues wearing something like that after her. I'm going to text him right now.
Well, can we just do the program and then text him during the break? I mean, I don't want to coach you.
I can do both.
I know Marsh takes your tiny little hand in his and guides your hand around the buttons.
All, nothing tiny about this hand right here. Kawhi Leonard to shame over here. The claw. Speaking of hoops, Derrick Rose is retiring after 15 seasons in the NBA, the youngest ever MVP in league history. His career was derailed by injury in a major way, and some called an all-time what-if story. Who are some other examples of major what-if players across your lifetime, both local and nationally?
Oh, I always like to localize because I'm a St. Louisan through and through, meat and potatoes guy, proletariat. Tony Van Zandt, University of Missouri. Oscar Taveras, St. Louis Cardinals.
And that's a major one right there.
I'm in the tank. I know we're going to get a lot of. I'm trying to go across all the sports.
Do you think Todd Gurley would be put in that list? I mean, he's 29 right now and hasn't played in the NFL in a couple years.
I mean, I'm going local, and I know technically he was drafted by the St. Louis Rams for the Los Angeles Rams, though.
Sure.
Boy, if that wasn't a screaming tell.
Yeah.
Who would be the Rams one? I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of busts, but a guy who got hurt and never
really recovered fully.
Yeah.
Or kept getting. I mean, Bradford kept getting injured, but I don't know what his true ceiling was.
Ricky Ankiel, it's a nice play.
Yeah.
Ricky Ankiel's a pitcher.
Yeah. Yeah, as a pitcher for sure. I put him in that list. I like Trent.
Tough spot, but had a great career with the Chiefs. Had a great career with Washington before he got here. Colby Rasmus getting votes. Ankiel's the one that's just getting all the texts, I can tell you that.
Yeah. I thought when I asked that we get a lot of Ankiel.
Did you really?
I thought Oscar Taveras, obviously, and I thought Ankiel as a pitcher. I thought that was a big what-if story.
A lot of Bradfords.
I mean, he did keep getting injured.
I don't think that's a what if because of injuries. He just wasn't good.
But he was Offensive Rookie of the Year, his first year.
Oh, you're going to take me in a time warp to 2010 and 11 and 12 when I was litigating every day whether or not Sam Bradford was a great quarterback. Is that my birthday gift?
I don't mean to relitigate.
It was one of the worst topics in St. Louis sports radio history.
Mount Rushmore of worst topics in St. Louis radio sports radio.
That for real. I'm like, it's just one of those things. Like if it doesn't work out, we're doomed. And so we're going to tell ourselves it's going to work out. It's going to work out. It's going to work out.
So we got a lot of Case Keenum, Austin Davis, Sean Hill.
Passes to running backs. That's what we got.
Yeah.
Maybe some tight ends.
You forget about Chris Gibson.
You do.
Chris Givens, of course. Chris Gibson, I don't know who that is. Jackson.
Denari Alexander's a nice play.
DX is a great call.
That's a nice, and we got a few of those. Tip of the cap.
That's a great call.
I've seen some Eric Johnsons. I was thinking of Eric Johnson. I mean, he did get to go and play in Colorado and win a chalice. But as far as with the Blues, the hype that was, I know you're nodding and looking at me, and I'm
just trying to be respectful.
I understand. But you obviously don't know who that is.
No.
Okay. So I don't know. Yeah, cause I'm trying to think, like, there's got to be an obvious Blues one. And I just don't know if there's one as obvious as like Oscar Taveras or even Tony Van Zandt, which you have to go. I mean, you have to be like 50s in order to remember that, or just a fan of Missouri football and you know the name. But yeah, the hope that he was supposed to inspire. I guess a parallel would be Luther Burden. Like you had Luther Burden choose Missouri over Georgia and Alabama. Tony Van Zandt, top running back, and then he got hurt in the senior high school all-star game.
Just for Mizzou, Michael Porter Jr. would be one of those.
It's a nice play, actually. Just for Missouri.
Mizzou,
yeah. Obviously, the NBA things worked out. Alan Craig, that's kind of a sneaker play.
Yeah, I feel like we got some good years.
Yeah, but I mean, that blew up on a September and Monday night in Cincinnati. You know, I mean, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. It's a good play. Andrew Luck.
Yeah, but that was on his own.
That was on his own accord. Alex Reyes, nicely done, 217.
Yeah, Alex Reyes.
Play.
Yeah,
great play.
That's a good one.
Alan Bennis, great play. Tip of the cap to the audience. Tip of the cap to the audience.
Well, it's your birthday. They came to play. I didn't, but they did.
I'm telling you, that's really nice.
They came to play.
Tim's football career, bitching about sports. I agree. Well, that's on Gary Kornfeld.
Yeah, that was external variables, were the politics.
Thank you.
You know. We've seen it in the past, certainly against Boston College. Short quarterbacks can. I think you were bad position because you tried to be a running back.
Jitterbugging scat back.
I think you were better as an option quarterback.
Well, I mean, St. Louis U High did have a guy who quarterbacked Northwestern in the Rose Bowl that I would have had to beat out.
But we don't. But your future in football is a question mark. It could have been better. You could have.
I could have quarterbacked Northwestern in the Rose Bowl,
or better.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You know. Notre Dame under Lou Holtz?
Yeah, I don't know if he would have. I don't know. I guess I could have quarterbacked Notre Dame too.
But you would scrap for every yard.
Damn right I would.
And you wouldn't leave your team for $100,000.
I just think that the defensive linemen and linebackers would have a tough time, like with a little, essentially like a sperm, because you know it's there, but you just can't see it.
No arm tackles.
That's what I would have been like. I'm just like weaving through, and then the next thing you know, you hear there's a touchdown, and you're like, I didn't see him.
By the way,
I think that would have been my secret. So yeah, Lou Holtz probably would have capitalized on that.
By the way, anytime Kyler Murray scrambles, I kind of giggle. Because it kind of looks like they let a kid out there, and no one can get him.
Nobody's going to get him. That's right.
You can't get him. It's like you can't get him.
Ran on the field.
You know, they say he's 5'10".
That's great. He inspires us all.
Maybe in
dream of being 5'10".
Maybe in cleats.
10:39 in St. Louis. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. You're listening to Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals win yesterday. Final score of 5-2 over the Rockies. They finish up their series in Denver today. 2:10 first pitch, Cardinals and Rockies. And we got Thursday night football action right here on 101 ESPN as the Giants take on the Cowboys tonight. Pregame will start at 6:30 and it'll kick off at 7:20 right here on 101 ESPN. That was our Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
All right, we're halfway through Jackson's list of the hottest 4 coaches in college football. So far, Marcus Freeman and Mike Gundy. Ladies and gentlemen, number 3, the Thomas Jefferson of the Mount Rushmore.
Well, Tim, let's head out west and let's go take a visit to La La Land. Former Oklahoma coach, current USC Trojan coach Lincoln Riley makes the list.
Interesting.
Lincoln Riley is now a member of the list. Who will get that last spot? You won't believe it.
Really? This is going to be...
This one's the curveball. This is on the next segment.
This will be an older gentleman.
Not necessarily, but yes.
All right. Well, I can't wait to find out. I say with feigned sincerity. Jackson, what's our next question on today's edition of This One's for the Timmies here on Balloon Party, driven by Munganess St. Louis Acura and Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota. Hello, friends.
The Mets and Braves, how about that whole deal?
Oh, my goodness.
How will that impact the possible Cardinals press conference where we might get a little bit of a shuffle?
All right. Now, you do the show and talk to the people like they're in the know because you respect the audience.
No, because explaining it all would require more work from me, and so I prefer you to do it.
All right. I think people can appreciate that honesty. So the Mets and Braves are battling for what could be the final playoff spot in the National League because of Hurricane Helene. The doubleheader in Atlanta canceled and moved to Monday. And you say, but Tim, the regular season ends on Sunday. Well, not this year, because the Mets and Braves most likely will be playing for something in either one game or 2 games on Monday in Atlanta. Right now, the Mets lead the Braves by a game. They lead the Diamondbacks by .001 percentage points. And so that final couple of playoff spots in the National League are up for snatch grabs.
Yep.
Barring a huge surprise, the Dodgers are going to win the National League West. It's not clinched, but that's the most likely scenario as they lead the Padres by 3. Padres, for the record, are playing the Diamondbacks this weekend. What if the Padres have something to play for? What if the Diamondbacks just have to watch television on Monday to find out if they're in the playoffs? Kind of like the Cardinals in 2011. But, Jackson, here is the set of circumstances. You could have the Mets playing in Milwaukee on Sunday, then flying to Atlanta for a doubleheader on Monday,
Yeah.
and then flying to San Diego on Tuesday to start the playoff series that will begin on Tuesday against the Padres. That is within the realm of possibility if things finished with the way the order of the standings are right now, because the Padres would most likely be the 4, the Mets would be the 5, and away we go, brother. It's not like the Brewers are playing for anything. They know they're the 3.
Yep.
So what motive do they have?
None.
That's exactly right. So you like the Mets' chances against
Milwaukee.
the Brewers this weekend.
Right.
Padres may be playing for something depending on what happens with them and the Dodgers today. And if they're playing for something, then the Diamondbacks got the short end of the stick because they're playing a team that's playing for something.
Yep.
Either way, the Braves and the Mets are going to be playing for a whole lot on Monday. If they have their playoff spots wrapped up, Major League Baseball just won't play the doubleheader.
Right.
If they determine the playoff spots in game 1, they'll cancel the second game. And if they need to, they'll play as many innings as it takes to find out the seedings in the National League. And then those teams will get on planes and head on out.
God.
How do you do?
I respect the people in Major League Baseball office who handle this scheduling logistics. The people who are tasked with scheduling 162 games for all these teams and trying to make them coincide. And this is just like, it's hard enough to do that when everything is normal. Then you throw a massive hurricane in the mix. I mean, and now this late in the season, where implications are still alive, that is just crazy. It could lead to a team being totally screwed in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would make the case it's going to.
Right.
It's quite an advantage for the 3 and 4 seeds. Here is the spot. Doubleheader on Monday, and then one of these teams, no matter what, is playing on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. There's no way around it because the Padres are in, and then if the Diamondbacks get in, then one of them get in. If the Diamondbacks don't get in, then both of them get in. Yeah. Nobody else is eligible in the National League anymore. But this whole doubleheader is the byproduct of a rainout on April 10th, in which the Mets were complaining on April 10th, per the New York Post, that the game shouldn't have been rained out. And now you have this. Furthermore, the Mets say they wanted to move the doubleheader earlier in the week before Hurricane Helene had gained the strength that it has over the last 24 hours. But they say the Braves didn't want to get rid of the gate. They had more than 40,000 fans there for their 5-1 victory a couple nights ago. And then they also talked about moving the series to Texas, where the Rangers ballpark is not being used, and they could have played it there, and Dallas is not in the line of Hurricane Helene, so they could have done that. Braves didn't want to do that. So you have the Monday doubleheader showdown. Now, you asked about the Cardinal press conference, which I have expected to be on Monday. And I expect the Cardinals to announce a multitude of changes, but I don't think you're going to see them announce the termination of Ali Marmol. My guess is they're going to announce a transition in the baseball offices, and John Mozeliak will shepherd that transition for Chaim Bloom. That's what I think is going to happen.
But if they have a doubleheader on Monday,
baseball prefers that teams not have significant announcements on the playoff days.
Right.
But this is still regular season. Yeah. And then what do the Cardinals do? Sit around and wait a month?
Right.
I mean, you got to get to work here.
Right. Ideally, you would like to get to work as soon as possible.
So I still think they have the press conference on Monday, but the playoffs start on Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah.
And by the way, just as an aside, what if we have rain in the forecast on Monday in Atlanta? I mean, what happens then?
So, I was about to ask you, what is the chaos scenario? Like the Mets
gets rained out on Monday,
but the total comprehensive chaos scenario is like the Mets somehow lose to the Brewers, the Padres lose to the Dodgers, and then.
I guess if it's possible, the chaos scenario, the Diamondbacks get the 5th seed.
Yeah.
And so the Mets and Braves go into that doubleheader with the exact same record, and they split the doubleheader. and then what happens? They do penalty kicks?
Or the second game gets rained out because it's pouring down rain. Like what do you do?
Because I want to see a torch taken to baseball's postseason format. Whatever it takes, I'll be cheering for anarchy. It's kind of like I used to watch college football and the nonsense that went on to make sure blue bloods would get into the championship game. That's what I'm wanting here with this asinine format in which you play 162 games. And now 12 teams get in, and then 4 of them will participate in a best of 3.
Yeah. Like we had a bunch of chaos scenario breakdowns last year for the CFP selection, for the last year of the 4-team selection. There's a lot of chaos scenarios. We rarely get it for baseball. So when you can get a chaos scenario, obviously you want everyone to be okay who's in the path of the hurricane. There's no joking about that. But in terms of baseball, like if all hell breaks loose, it's kind of more interesting.
Guys, they could use Busch Stadium. The Cardinals haven't used it all year. It's from the 636. How about that, Jackson?
Yeah. Do you think people would go to that? Like a random... two teams that don't play in St. Louis. Like, I don't know if you'd get the attendance.
I don't know if they're necessarily caring. They just want to get it done.
Right.
Although it looks like, weirdly, the storm turns to the west.
Yeah,
I know you studied meteorology.
I moonlighted, yeah. I moonlighted in Wichita as a...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Tornado Alley. And so hurricanes aren't necessarily my bailiwick, but, they're elusive. Very elusive, much like you on the football field. They're very elusive, tough to tackle.
So this hurricane can go anywhere. Because, I've seen the storm pattern projections, and it, heads up through the south, through Georgia, and then it kind of veers towards St. Louis. But you're saying this thing could just, go anywhere.
Well, I think they want to see the best fans of baseball. Hurricane
does.
Yeah, it's, baseball heaven.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. There's Jackson's projection for the storm pattern. All right, we have one segment left, Jackson. This is it. What are you going to do? You're going to announce the hottest...
Yep, and then tributes to Tim for his birthday, I think, in the final segment.
Yeah, we'll just read those in the YouTube chat and the Air Comfort Service text line. This is Balloon Party 101 ESPN. This is it, Jackson. 6 minutes. What are you going to do with it?
Bring the heat. First, I got to put my headphones on.
We're only given so many sunrises. We're only given so many sunsets. The question is, what are you going to do with those days?
You a sunrise guy or a sunset guy?
Yeah. If on the Atlantic side, sunrise, Gulf, depending on what direction I'm pointed.
Yeah.
Sunset, Pacific way.
Yeah.
Sunset. See what I'm saying? Over the ocean or the ocean.
I get that. Here's my take. I think sunrises are more beautiful, but I like the vibe of sunsets better. It's like your night's just getting started, whereas if you're seeing the sunrise, you're up early, probably not by what you want to be doing. But maybe. But in general.
Varsity Blue situation?
Or just, you're up grinding. You and I both wake up before the sun rises because we're meat and potatoes guys. Got to put food on the table for the family. We don't need a rooster to wake up.
I'm a hunter and gatherer.
It's big H&G.
Marsh's Burner, who along with Grape Ape Auto Detailing, they're my guys. Mm-hmm. Tim, I hope you get your threesome for your birthday. Thank you, Marsh's Burner.
Yeah, I do too. I hope nothing but the best for you and your lovely family.
Thank you so much.
Truly.
That was quite a gesture.
Yeah, truly.
Let's see. Dan Jansen responding to Bill Marsh in the YouTube chat. We don't talk about the Blues. We just talk about hot coaches.
That's right. At least on this show.
Jackson, you've named Marcus Freeman, Mike Gundy, and Lincoln Riley as your 3 hottest college football coaches. And now you will rank your 4th on your Mount Rushmore.
So to recap, Marcus Freeman, Mike Gundy, Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, in case you were under an overpass the last 4 seconds.
Well, listeners cycle on, they cycle off.
Right.
The final person to enter the list, Baylor head coach Dave Aranda.
Wow.
Yeah, Dave Aranda.
Wow, they'll be talking in Waco today.
So I went on to a Reddit thread that had hottest NCAA coaches, because if you type that into Google, you just get hot seat rankings.
So they take Smith's blogs.
So I feel like I'm filling a void here, like no one's doing this. And so some Reddit thread commenter said, I want to rub Dave Aranda's bald, shiny head. And I said, I agree. And so Dave Aranda makes the list.
Dave Aranda gets the win for Jackson. People are really, look at the number of times Lane Kiffin's been texted in here to the Air Comfort Service. The people are really mad you didn't name Hottie Toddy and Lane Kiffin.
So I really do like what Lane Kiffin brings to the table. It's kind of that disheveled look. It's like disheveled yet presentable. So he's the kind of guy who's like, man, he just rolls out of bed like that. That's impressive. And I do like his kind of laid back charisma. But he's a jumper. He's a jumper. He'll leave you, if he finds a better opportunity.
You want a man, you can settle down with.
That's why I picked Mike Gundy. He's proven loyalty.
All right.
So I'm rocking with that.
Dave Aranda was bouncing around.
Yeah,
Dave Aranda might get bounced.
But what about that bald, shiny head?
Hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
The bald community sticks together.
Yeah.
Jackson, we have 3 minutes now. What are you going to do with it? You're going to the Hamptons. I'm off tomorrow. This is it. What are we going to do with it?
How much could the conversation around Eli Drinkwitz change if they get worked in College Station? And by worked, I mean 2 touchdowns or more.
Oh, I don't know. I get it. I don't really partake in that on a one game.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy the one game, one decision, this guy's got to go, this guy's on the hot seat thing.
Yeah.
I really don't. You're smirking for some reason, and I don't know why. Do I amuse you? Am I like a clown? Do I amuse you?
In that scene, only Pesci, Leota, and Scorsese knew that it was going to be a joke. All the other actors thought Pesci was really getting upset with Leota. And so you get some really great reaction shots of all those guys, because they're like, what's going on here?
Nice. I didn't know that. I'll have to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's something to notice.
A little Goodfellas history there from our friend of goodorbad.com, owner, proprietor, Jackson Burkett.
Yeah, and R.I.P. Ray Liotta. I don't know if I've ever said that in the show, but rest in peace to a legend.
Jen Foam says, what a trap.
What a trap. Cowboys minus 5.5 is a trap tonight.
Oh, wow. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm avoiding that like the plague.
Janoris Jenkins, former St. Louis Rams quarterback who was very excited about the move to Los Angeles. You read his Twitter feed about 25 minutes ago. He got up this morning, and what did he tweet out to his former teammate Daniel Jones?
He tweeted, ooh, and that's 3 O's. Ooh, yeah. Dan, the doo-doo man. You're still on the hot seat. You sorry ass. Exclamation point.
So Janoris Jenkins continues his one-sided war on Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, who he calls Dan, the doo-doo man.
That's correct. And that was just the most recent tweet.
You know, it's good to see the St. Louis Rams still having an impact in the NFL to this day.
Yeah. On September 15th, he tweeted, constipated doo-doo. Minutes before that, Dan, the doo-doo man, grab your toilet paper.
Did you just lose your place in that tweet?
Well, then someone responded, like, why are you doing this? And he goes, yeah, well, he's using up all the toilet paper.
Sounds like he could join us in studio for this program.
Someone said, someone tweeted out Jalen Hyatt, the Giants wide receiver, saying he has full belief in Daniel Jones, and Janoris Jenkins tweeted, he's lying, just look at his face. He hates Daniel Jones.
You know, Daniel Jones might not be a great quarterback, but I wonder what he did to Janoris Jenkins.
Seems like a nice enough guy. He might be out of place. So funny.
Jen Phone has just named Mike McDaniel as far as a pro coach. That's the one that
he
she
also
wants
made he made my list.
Yeah, so you and Jen ought to go out and get a scotch. All right, time for us to go. BK and Ferrario are up next. For Jackson Bennett Burkett, I'm Timothy Michael McKernan. This has been Balloon Party, driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota on 101 ESPN.